Good morning. This is Giovanni Gallucci, joined by Chloe Dawn and Rachel Donovan, and this is the Daily Trend Report.
Morning, Giovanni.
Morning. I drove in from the far side of the county before the sun cleared the mountains, so I'm running on gas station coffee and Spite, and I feel terrific.
Rachel's already got the Mustang keys going around her finger. That's how I know we're on.
And I've got a cold can of crazy water I have no intention of opening. It's a prop, not a beverage.
Today, brands walking off the main feed to build actual shows, a hole in what anybody knows about how women hydrate, and a department store that made fun of its own shoppers and got a standing ovation for it. Here we go.
So 3 different brands, 3 different budgets made the exact same move in 1 week, and none of them called it a strategy. Away, the luggage company, spun up a second Instagram handle called @actuallyaway. It isn't a spillover feed for extra product shots. It's short films built out of real travel stories they collected from their own followers.
The audience writes the premise, the brand shoots it.
Right. Then Ann Taylor. They quietly started a Substack back in February called The Desk, Career and Style Stuff. And this week they hung their first real campaign in a decade on top of it. And Newly killed the traditional fall commercial outright and shipped a 12-episode rom-com instead. 60 seconds an episode, 3 at a time.
Eddie put that at the very top of his desk this morning. Travis had the other half of it. YouTube now lets you turn a playlist into an actual show on the living room TV. Poster art, episode order, the whole thing.
So the same week 3 brands walk off the feed to build shows, the platform ships the tool to package them on a TV. That's not a coincidence, that's a current.
It's a current. And the Newly one is the one I'd study hardest because they wrote 12 endings first and worked backward. The rented outfit shows up on the character inside the story, not held up to the camera at the end. That's the line between a show and an ad wearing a show's clothes.
So here's what I want you to settle, because I keep hearing people frame this as, great, now I run 2 accounts. Why is a second handle worth the split?
Because a feed does one job badly, and it's the one that matters here. It sorts itself. You spend 6 weeks on something with an order to it, and the feed hands people episode 4 before episode 1. 3 posts out of 12, out of sequence. So the thing lands as noise. A dedicated handle turns the grid into an episode list. Somebody who follows @actuallyaway opted into the show. Every post reinforces the last one instead of fighting the sale you put up that same afternoon.
And the dumb read is that this is a big brand game because Away has 10 years of Instagram equity to push at it.
That's backwards. This gets cheaper the smaller you are. A second handle costs you nothing but discipline. 12 60-second episodes shot in 1 day cost less than 1 polished hero spot nobody finishes. The reason all 3 moved at once, by the way, isn't the format. LinkedIn said this week 1 million people hit that "seems like AI slop" button in 2 weeks, and flagged posts are down 40% in views. When the feed starts pricing generic filler, a serialized thing made by actual humans, with a beginning and an end, is the part a machine can't fake for you.
Because it requires you to have gone somewhere and shot something.
That's the whole trick. A small audience that chose you beats a big one that scrolled past, and it just got cheaper to act on.
The Ann Taylor piece is the sneaky one to me. They built the audience first back in February, and the campaign second. Backwards from how everybody does it.
And that's why the launch had somewhere to land on day 1. A Substack is really an email list with a social graph bolted on, which is the closest thing to owned reach anybody's selling right now. You're not renting your own audience back from an algorithm every single morning.
One honest caution before we hand out homework, because I'd rather say it than watch 3 people try this badly.
Go ahead.
A second account splits attention you might not have to spare. If your main feed's posting twice a month and struggling, this isn't your problem yet. Fix the cadence first. The show format is for when you already have something worth serializing and no good place to put it.
And expect the first season to get watched mostly by people who already buy from you.
Treat that as the point, not the letdown. Those are the exact people who go tell somebody else. Away is pushing a decade of Instagram equity at their new handle. You aren't, and that's fine, you're not trying to. All right, 3 things you can do with that before Chloe takes the wheel. 1. Take one recurring thing you already do that has a shape to it, the Friday brisket cutdown, 1 grower a month, and give it its own handle. Decide the run length before you shoot episode 1. 12 is a good number. And pull the material from your own list so the supply and the audience show up together.
2. You've already got a season sitting in your channel badly labeled. Reorder your existing how-to videos into a numbered YouTube show with real episode order and a title before you shoot a single new thing. Cheapest programming move on the board.
3. Add a track to your next 3 carousels. Music makes a carousel eligible for the Reels tab now, so a static post you are already going to make walks into more reach for free. Add the audio, watch your saves, and you've got a real answer in 15 minutes.
Okay, my desk. And this one got under my skin in a good way. Gatorade Science Institute published the first study out of a program they're calling Body of Science. They measured more than 500 women across basketball, soccer, hockey. 43% showed up to the workout already dehydrated. Better than half took in no carbohydrate at all during exercise. And they replaced about a fifth of the sodium they lost against a recommended half.
Those are rough numbers.
Rough and steady across every sport they measured, which is what makes it a category story instead of a one-team fluke.
Basketball, soccer, hockey, all reading the same way.
Here's the part that actually got me, though. Their own people note that only about 6% of sports science research looks at women exclusively. 6. So a category giant just stood up and published the size of the hole in its own category's knowledge.
Which is a gift if you're small.
For years, the whole play in that aisle was take the men's formula, shrink the can, color it pink, call it a women's line. And here's the giant's own institute admitting the actual biology went unstudied the entire time.
So every independent electrolyte brand now has a citable reason to build for women across life stages: training, pregnancy, perimenopause, menopause, instead of pinking down the men's version. That's not a marketing claim. It's a published gap with the leader's name on it.
And the honest caution, because it's their research funding their own authority.
You cite it, you don't launder it. Link the study, use their numbers, don't rewrite them into a claim of your own. Educational stays educational.
That's what I want you to walk through. Eddie had the study in his report this morning. My instinct is an independent hydration brand builds a slick little explainer series off this. You keep steering people toward the comments instead. Why?
Because that hole in the research isn't an abstraction. It's a list of specific questions real women have been asking for years, and nobody with a lab coat answered. What happens to me at mile 3? What changes in a training block nobody warned me about? Why do I feel wrecked after a game my brother would have shrugged off? A polished explainer talks at that. A comment section answers it, by name, one person at a time. Loyalty gets built in the replies, not the caption. You already know that in your bones, Chloe.
I do. And a can of crazy water agrees with me silently.
The move is to make the answering the show. You cite the institute by name, you link the study, you keep it educational, no dosing, no health claims, and you let the questions set your calendar instead of a content plan. The giant funded the authority. A small brand can inherit the audience.
And you never run short on material because the questions renew themselves. Every new follower shows up carrying the same 3.
Renewable supply, same as Away's travel stories. The audience hands you the season.
Okay, 3 quick ones out of that, and none of them need a lab.
1. Pin a post asking active women the thing nobody warned them about, in training, in a game, in perimenopause, and then answer every reply on camera for a week straight. Cite the institute by name and keep it educational. Full stop.
2. Put the actual number on screen. 43% showed up already dehydrated. That figure does more work as a plain data card than any adjective you could stack on top of it.
3. Bring in one woman athlete who already posts in your lane and let her host the Q&A with you, and pay her for showing up every week, not for one drive-by post. A repeat face beats a one-time reach spike.
Last stretch, and this is the one I've been chewing on since Eddie dropped it on the tactics desk. JCPenney. They put out a long film last week called The Retail Rejuvenation Retreat. It follows 6 real bargain shoppers through a parody wellness retreat that's supposedly trying to cure them of their discount shopping habit. Fake sound baths, the whole thing.
A department store running an intervention on people for shopping at the department store.
And it's 6 real shoppers in it, not actors, which is the part that keeps it from feeling like a brand laughing at you from across the room.
That's the tell that it was made by people who actually like their customer. You can film a joke at somebody, or you can film it with them, and the camera knows the difference even when the words are identical. And here's why it works and doesn't turn mean. They aimed the joke at a behavior everybody quietly does, chasing a deal, instead of aiming it at a competitor. You get to be funny without picking a fight with a person or a brand. Molly Ivins could gut a whole institution and never once punch down at the guy sweeping the floor. Same instinct.
Most brand comedy films die about 40 seconds after the laugh, though.
They do. And that's the second thing JCPenney got right. The film has a physical ending. Later this month, you can walk in, trade a purchase you regret for $15 off, and they donate the traded stuff to charity. So the joke isn't just a joke. It turns into a thing you can go do with your hands. Most satirical brand films have no second act. They get the chuckle, the comment section moves on, nothing happens.
It cleared Adweek's ads of the week inside 4 days, too. That's earned reach, not paid.
Right, and you don't need mischief and a film crew to steal the shape of it. A hot sauce brand can make a 2-minute bit about people who claim they can handle heat and can't. The lesson is the structure, not the budget.
The retreat framing is doing quiet work, too. It's a container people already know from 100 wellness parodies, so nobody has to learn anything to get the joke.
Familiar container, specific joke. That's most good comedy right there.
The flop version of this is everywhere, though. A brand runs a mystery flavor drop, harvests 4,000 guesses in the comments, then answers with one flat graphic and converts none of it. Same disease. No second act.
That's exactly it. The guess is the easy part, and almost nobody plans the reveal. If you open a loop with your audience, you owe them a payoff they can feel. Otherwise, you've just farmed engagement and left everybody a little colder toward you than before you started.
The West Texas version of that's, you don't invite folks to a barn dance and then lock the barn.
Rachel lands it better than I did.
So what does an operator actually take from it?
3 things, then we're out. 1. Find a behavior your whole category quietly does, and make the joke about the behavior, never a named competitor. That's the line between funny and mean, and it's the difference between earning shares and earning a lawyer's phone call.
2. Give the bit a second act somebody can do this week. A trade-in, a swap, a challenge, anything with hands in it. A punchline ends. A thing people can go do keeps traveling after the laugh.
3. Shoot it with real people, not actors, and leave the room tone in. The comment sections are running forensics on anything too clean right now, calling it AI on site. So a little roughness isn't a flaw this year. It's your proof of life.
That's the show. If you're a food or beverage brand standing up a new channel, or dusting off one that's been posting into a dead room, that first stretch is where most of them wander off and sound like nobody. That's the work I do. Brand voice and content strategy. Over 15 years of it in food and beverage, so a new channel sounds like you from day one instead of a year in. Find me at gallucci.net or DM at gallucci.net on Instagram or LinkedIn. Go drive somewhere. See you tomorrow.